session.
I'll make a motion to return to open session.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Welcome to the January 23rd meeting of the Board of Township Trustees of Anderson Township. I'd ask that you join us in the most important thing we're going to do tonight, and that's a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In case you didn't notice, to my left, this is not Peggy Rice, and to my right, this is not Peggy Rice. Sorry. Welcome, Josh Garth, Andrew Pappas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Could we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Sure. Make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented with modification.
Your first motion, you screwed it up.
Well, there you go.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, thank you. Okay. Steve, we have a very nice presentation to a few folks who've gone into retirement.
Our volunteers that have gone into retirement, and unfortunately, because they were volunteers, are not receiving retirement funding for that. But we did, as you board will recall, last month, or actually November, we announced the citizen committee appointments for 2014. We had a number of longstanding committee members who have served us for a number of years that chose, for a variety of reasons, not to be reappointed or asked not to be reappointed. A number of these folks have moved from the townships. Others had conflicts with the committees that they were on as far as the meeting times, etc. But I want to take a chance to recognize those individuals, or at least announce their names. I think a couple of them are here tonight. So if I read your name and if you are here, if you could please come forward. The first is Bob Petrick. And I'll ask Mr. Jackson if he could perhaps come down and present. Bob was a member of our street tree committee from the inception of the street tree in 2006 through 2013. So thank you, Bob. Thank you. All right. And I think the other... And I think Chai Bolger, is Chai? Yes, he is here. Okay, great. And Chai was a member of, or Charles, as I probably should say formally, was a member of our Betterment and Beautification Committee from 2011 through 2013. Thank you. And I'll go ahead and read the others. I don't believe anyone else is here, but I want to make sure I read just a little bit of background about those other individuals. One was Lisa Cochran. Lisa was on our Betterment and Beautification Committee from 2007 to 2013, and she actually co-chaired the committee the last 5 years of her time on the committee. Marion Cottrell, who was also on the Betterment and Beautification Committee from 2010 to 2013. Bob Hinklin, who emailed me earlier. Unfortunately, Bob fell, but he's recovering, fortunately, very well. He was on the Street Tree Committee from 2010 2013. And then two members of our Green Space Advisory Committee, longstanding members who have moved from the township. The first is Biz Martella. Biz was a Green Space Advisory Committee member from 2001 through 2013, so a long-standing member. And Carolyn Nagel, also a Green Space Advisory Committee member from 2005 to 2013. So I didn't want to take the opportunity to thank them again for their service, and we'll make sure that they receive their certificates.
Thank you, Steve. Arriving just in the nick of time for his legislative update is State Representative Peter Stoutberg.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, and 1 hour to get from Cincinnati State over to here. Not good traffic, but thanks for having me again, and welcome to our new trustees. It's great to be here. We have returned from the Christmas break, and we've passed a number of things, and I won't bore you with all the details, but most notable, we re-upped on the bonding program for the state, which we do every 10 years. And because of a couple things we did back in the Strickland administration, he did, we have to do it a year earlier than usual. So that will be on the ballot this coming May, I believe, and that'll set the stage for the bonding program. And from that, we then have capital budgets. We're working on the capital budget as well. You may have read in the paper about projects being vetted and being proposed. Something that's on my list is helping out the bridge project down at the bottom of the hill over the Little Miami. That's out in this area, and I have not seen a draft of the bill yet with all the projects on them from LSC, so nothing's in the first draft stage yet. It's still in the discussion stage. Our annexation bill is moving on. We're still, or we're back, I guess, in the interested parties and discussion stage, negotiation stage. I've got a meeting next week with the Municipal League folks to have a discussion about their issues and what really happened back in 2001, who was where, and what the conversations and the details are there. So I think I will leave it at that and be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Mrs. Earhart, do you have any questions regarding the annexation bill?
I'm just hoping, do you have an idea when that will be moving out of committee?
Well, there's going to be a couple of people opposing it, and I talk to Terry probably daily about it and strategy-wise, and we decided that we would like to get the Municipal League in a discussion first before we push that out. I mean, we could get it out of committee yesterday, but we want to hold off until we get that discussion and then work on it that way.
Okay, and the last question, I hope that you'll be able to attend the legislative reception at the OTA Winter Conference that's coming up here in February.
February what?
It's the Ohio Township Association Winter Conference. The legislative reception is Wednesday, February 12th in the evening. The OTA Board of Directors is sponsoring this reception this year.
Got it. I think I'm always there. It's usually breakfast, isn't it?
When Clout does it, when it's a breakfast. When the OTA Board does it, it's an evening event.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be there.
Thank you.
Peter, one other one, if I may. These new resolutions are introduced from time to time. A lot of them don't go anywhere, as you well know. Interested in HJR number 10, which really is a constitutional amendment. It calls for the recall, allows for the recall through change in the Constitution of the governor and lieutenant governor and anyone else in state office, or is that anyone else in any office?
I have not read that. It's my understanding that I think it's anyone. I mean, that was the sponsor's intent, I believe, is to pass that out and have it applicable to anyone and in the Constitution. Because the bill that I introduced, it was noted that there might be some constitutional issues because in the Constitution itself there is, I forget how it's exactly it's worded. It's been a while since I looked at it, but it's not everyone spelled out in the Constitution. So this will make it very clear, applicable to every office holder. And there's some parameters, and again, this is what I read. I've not looked at the bill itself, but parameters about it would have to be after a certain amount of time in office, et cetera.
That's the way the other recalls require a year in office before you can even recall someone. But this is kind of interesting because what we probably don't need is another constitutional amendment, particularly on the ballot. I think we've had enough of those over the years. The interesting thing about the legislation that you introduced was the fact that the Township Association is not supporting it. And they're not supporting it on the basis that it would be too costly. I don't know what the heck they think is costly. If you have a bad apple and you can't get rid of them, that's not costly. It's a strange position, but they're not opposing it I think, out of deference to us, but they're certainly not supporting it. And anyway, it'll be interesting.
Right.
Hope we get it done.
Can't wait for the weather to break.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Peter.
At every meeting, the board sets aside time for individuals who wish to address the board. We ask that you make non-repetitive points as clearly and concisely as these two fellows would do, limiting your comments to a maximum of 5 minutes, and we ask that you state your name and address for the record. So anyone who wishes to address this board, please come forward. Go here, or you could go there. The line will start right there.
Anyone?
Maybe we should give out numbers. You think? It doesn't appear that anyone wishes to come forward, so we'll move ahead, close the public forum portion of the meeting, and move into trustees' comments. Mr. Girth?
I'd like to say I'm very excited to be part of this board. Vicki and her staff have been outstanding, getting us up to speed on everything, and it's been great, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Pappas?
I'd like to second that. Vicki and her staff have been excellent, and everybody here has been very welcoming and made us feel like just part of the family already, so thank you very much. Two other points I'd like to make. During the election, there were some comments that were said and spread around, and I'd just like to straighten some stuff out for the record. I'd like to ask, or we don't have the screen up, but I'd just like to let everybody know that tonight the meeting agenda was online, and it was within one click on the homepage of Anderson Township's website. You could click on, just within one click, get to the agenda for the trustee meeting and see what was going to be covered here tonight to decide on if you wanted to attend or not. That's great. I'd like to just clarify something with Vicki. How long has that been available?
We have been placing that on the website since October of 2010. We also have, in compliance with our public records request, we have a list of individuals that have asked to receive the agenda via email. So Mrs. Moorfield sends out an email with the agenda to those individuals prior to every board meeting. So
Great.
there are several ways residents can call and ask for the agenda if they'd like, or, as you said, it's on our website.
Well, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that, because staff, I think it's important to defend some things that are said that aren't correct, and I think this is the time and place to do it.
Thank you.
Secondly, during the election, there were some comments made about some of the budget line items that either were unable to discern or a little more difficult to find out what exactly they contained. And after meeting with Mr. Dietz, I can tell you that they don't fudge. They get down to the penny. I mean, I do mean to the penny. So I just want everyone to know, if you ever have a question, Mr. Dietz, is it correct that if any resident has a question about any of the line items on the budget, how many line items are there on the budget?
Probably close to 1,000.
Okay. But if they have a question, your office is always ready and able to answer any questions on any line item?
Correct.
Okay.
And in the detailed budget, each line item has a description of what's in that particular line item, and it's pretty detailed, so we can tell them exactly what we're spending the money on.
Okay. Well, that's it on my comments. It's just important to make sure that our residents know we have a completely open and transparent administration here running the township.
Thank you for that, those comments. I would point out that agenda is not an official agenda until it's actually adopted by this board. So it's a tentative agenda, and it could change without a doubt, but we do make the effort. That's the most important part. Thank you, gentlemen. Just one quick one that I'd like to mention. If you haven't seen any of the information regarding the electricity aggregation, it's out there. There's a website, dukeenergyretail.com/Anderson. Easy to get to. I tried it this afternoon. It really is quite simple. It gives you your choices. Then when you click onto it, it shows what the current rate is, so you can compare with the current public rate. Very simple. It's a painless process. Suzanne Parker did a yeoman job in getting this thing ready, so I encourage you to look at the website. I think they have a mailing coming soon. Is that correct?
Should be going out tomorrow.
Excellent. So get on board, and if you miss it, there are extensions and new periods and all that sort of thing. But basically, I think it gives you 6 options with different time frames. The first year is pretty simple. It's when you get into the second year is where the challenge, because they don't know whether it's going to be a skyrocket or not. But take a look at it. It's well worth looking at. Thank you. Our crack fiscal officer, Mr. Ken Dietz.
Thank you. All I have is we have run the year-end reports, but there's still some minor adjustments that need to be made to those. That's the fund report, the appropriation report, and the revenue report. So those will be finalized before the end of the month, and then at our next meeting, we'll have the end of January reports available for you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Wow. We like it. Law Director, Margaret Comey.
I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Wow. Planning and zoning. Paul Drury. Nothing from over there. Okay. And for our Sheriff's Department, we have Dave Boyman sitting in. David? And how many of our neighborhood watch programs do we now have? Wonderful. Nice job. Thank you, David. That's great. Public Works Department, Richard Shelley. Rich, before you start, I just want to say, I'm sure these fellows and everybody around here supports the fact that we really appreciate the effort that your guys have performed. I think what people don't see is not just the effort, but the creativity as to how we do it. And that's really why our process is so much better than some other communities. The things like doing everything with as many right turns as possible. Sounds pretty simple, but when you reduce the amount of time involved, a lot of time spent on cul-de-sacs and things like that. Great job. Please pass along to them our sincere thank you for the effort. And if it doesn't snow again this month, well, we'll all be happy.
Quite.
Well, I appreciate that, and I certainly will pass along to our staff. It is always a team effort, so I will certainly pass that along. Thank you.
Richard, who does Beachmont Avenue out in Claremont County, or 125?
That would be Claremont, either the state or Union Township, and I'm not exactly...
Not the county?
On our side, the county is paid to do it by ODOT, so the county takes care of it here.
Yeah, I understand once you got past Target, heading out 125.
There seemed to be a line there for some reason, and I'm not sure. We didn't create it. It just happened. Yes.
Thank you.
If you didn't see it, did you see this picture that Rich took? Was this yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday.
Off of Glade.
Connection. What is this?
Craigland Court, off of Glade Avenue.
Yeah. You can see where we stop and they start.
There was no...
That was 4 days after the fact.
No road to be found. We'll jump on. I certainly will pass that along. I appreciate your kind words.
Thank you.
We do get words of both support and encouragement along the process, but I will pass that along. I have a couple items before the board tonight, and one of them is nothing, 10A is nothing new. We've talked about it in December. This is in an effort to streamline maintenance operations. Again, it's one of those things that made no sense for us to travel over another stub of a county road to get to a township road. So in order to streamline and collaboratively work together as far as maintenance goes, we're looking to trade some real estate, if you will.
We have before us a resolution. Would someone like to?
I will make a motion to accept or adopt Resolution Number 14-0123, accepting Hamilton County's transferring a portion of Ayers Road from Hamilton County to Anderson Township and transferring Dunn Road from Anderson Township to Hamilton County.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Rich, will there
Yes, sir.
impact anything else? Speed limit?
No, sir. Just service.
Done.
Just maintenance of snow and potholes and paving and that sort of thing, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The second item I have before the board tonight is the Hamilton County Engineers Mileage Certification, one of those antiquated revised code situations where we are to report what our mileage is on an annual basis to the county engineer. We will do that. We, of course, you know, we keep a detailed inventory, and we'll be able to forward that on to the county engineer. But what you see is a reflection of last year's addition, which was the small stub of Ayers Road in the back. Of course, now the stuff you just did prior to this will take effect in 2014, so that math will show up there. But you have that motion in front of you.
Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to certify the 2013 annual road mileage as submitted by the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Hamilton County Engineers Office and is kept on file in the Township Public Works Department.
Second.
Is that submitted by or submitted to?
Grammatically, it would be 2.
That's what I thought, but hey, what do I know? 2. There you go. How's that?
Submitted to.
Mr. Pappas?
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. What will the Dunn heirs swap do? Won't be enough to talk
We will
about?
gain a little bit, but not much.
Not,
Right.
just a
Yeah, we're waiting on the math from the
10
county
feet
engineers.
maybe.
Yes,
Thank
a couple hundred feet at the most.
Got it. Thank you.
The last item I have before the board is to bid the 2014, begin preparing the bid documents. Of course, I will come back before the board once the bids are open and before we move forward with the project. But yes, even during the midst of the winter storms in January, we have to start preparing the pavement documents so that we can get an early start. It is critical that we pave or begin this process, go out for bid in March, try to open sometime around April, and let the contractors begin. I have outlined why for the school buses and for pricing. The earlier we bid in the season, the better pricing we get. The contractors are typically laid off, and this gets them back to work, so we get better pricing.
Any questions?
Nope.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move to authorize the bidding for the 2014 Street Rehab Program and 2014 Micro Surface Overlay Program.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Rich, just one.
Yes, sir.
One quick one. I thank you for once again giving us this very detailed information regarding rental revenue.
Oh, yes, sir.
For the facilities, but the one that always catches my eye more than ever this time was the fact that here we were, when I first looked at this thing, I think it was like the 10th of January, we'd already booked two-thirds of all the revenue that we received last year, and almost 50% of all the events were already booked for the entire year. That's getting a good start on it.
It is, and there's just so many moving pieces with almost 1,800 events. You have to book and book early. And then so it's critical that if you wish to reserve a date, that you get that time in early in the year and let Amy get you on the calendar and get you taken care of. But thank you, I appreciate, yes, we're off to a good start, and obviously we hope to add to that still. We have a long way to go, but that's just the beginning, and it is a good start. One of our best, actually.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Fire and Rescue Department, we have the honor of having Battalion Chief Rick Martin here. You can stand up here and say it. Get a little FaceTime. Thank you. And Township Administrator Vicki Earhart and/or Steve Severs and Suzanne Parker. How's that?
Yes, thank you. This would be the one modification to the agenda, the one item I'm bringing up right now. The Ohio Department of Commerce, the Division of Unclaimed Funds, is trying to reach as many Ohio residents as possible. They have created a website. It's a long name, but it's actually a treasure hunt website where they are posting the names of residents and businesses and entities such as the township, the park district, the school district, where there may be funds that have been unclaimed due to various reasons throughout the years. There is a website that residents can go to, and as I said, business owners as well. It is www.com.ohio.gov/unfund, UNFD abbreviation, /treasure hunt. .aspx. This is on our township website, and I would encourage people to go visit that site to see if you are due any monies. There is a simple form that you can fill out to reclaim those dollars, and again, it is on the township website. It is something that just came up recently, and I have noticed a tremendous number of township businesses that are listed on that website, so I would like to get the word out. We have one additional item arising from executive session discussions that Ms. Parker will present.
As the board is aware, with the successful election of Mr. Girth to this board, we now have a vacancy on the Anderson Park District Board of Commissioners. As such, this board asked a selection committee to solicit letters of interest from residents and set up interviews, which we have completed as of this afternoon. The selection committee consisted of Mr. Girth, Miss Angie Stalker, who is the current president of the Park Board of Commissioners, and I served as administrative support for that selection committee. We are very pleased that we had 5 outstanding candidates express interest. And unfortunately, we only have 1 spot for appointment, but we do want to suggest an ongoing role for the other candidates, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But first, we would like to recommend that the Board of Trustees appoint Mr. Robert Herking to the Anderson Park District Board of Commissioners. And secondly, the other candidates, and I will read their names, all bring such excellent and diverse backgrounds. We think they would be a great match for the Anderson Park District's Foundation Board. So I would ask that the Board of Trustees authorize me to offer that role to those other candidates as well. And that would be to Mr. Jay Lewis, Mr. Chris Cravens, Travis Cold Iron, and Mr. David Rudolph. So if the board is comfortable with that recommendation, I would simply ask for a motion appointing Mr. Herking to the Board of Commissioners and the other candidates that I just mentioned to the board's foundation.
We have no voice in who is appointed to their foundation board, but we do have a voice statutorily have a voice in appointing members to their board. Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to appoint Rob Herking to the Anderson Park District Board of Commissioners.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have for the board this evening.
Good Lord.
It's a quick one.
You got some filler, or
No, I got-
anybody want to sing? or
Sorry, I got
anything like
nothing.
that? I would let you all know that our next regular monthly board meeting is scheduled for February 20th, 2014 at 6 p.m. We'll be back on the third Thursday schedule. And if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to call 688-8400. With that, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.